This fact report provides an overview of the life and tragic circumstances surrounding Emma Jane Walker, a young woman whose life was cut short due to a domestic violence incident. Emma Jane Walker's story serves as a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of domestic abuse. Emma Jane Walker, daughter of Mark and Jill Walker, was born on March 20th, 2000, in a small town in Knoxville, Tennessee. She also had a brother named Evan. She grew up in a close-knit community and attended Central High School in Knoxville. She was described as a compassionate, kind-hearted individual with a passion for helping others. From an early age, Emma displayed a natural talent for leadership and was actively involved in extracurricular activities such as cheerleading and volunteering at her local church. Emma's academic achievements were noteworthy, and she demonstrated a keen interest in pursuing a career in nursing. Her dedication to her studies and commitment to her future goals earned her admiration from both peers and teachers alike.
People who didn't know her were like, oh, she's like a super pretty cheerleader, like, oh no. But then they would meet her and be like, she's the nicest person I've ever met.
Emma really took cheerleading seriously, said Lauren Hutton, who was a senior on the squad when she met Walker and the two became good friends. She really loved doing it. It was one of her passions. She loved leading and she loved football games. She loved just being part of crowd appeal. Early that fall, Walker's moves on the sidelines caught the eye of an older student, number 8 Central High's wide receiver, and then junior Riley Gall. Riley Gall, born on May 11, 1997, in Maryville, Tennessee. Riley was raised by his mother and grandparents. Gall was a top student and loved to play video games. Friends described him as a jokester, not the classic jock type. He came from a seemingly stable family and attended Central High School. Gall was known to be a talented athlete, particularly excelling in football, where he played as a wide receiver. He also showed an interest in photography, often posting pictures on social media. He was a little nerdy on the side, said Zach Green, one of Walker's friends. A little to himself. From the outside looking in, you'd think he was just a normal guy. Riley and Emma met during her freshman year and his junior year. Riley was so intrigued by the younger girl that he broke up with his current girlfriend. He wanted to be free and clear just in case Emma decided to look his way. Emma did, and soon they became that teen movie dream couple. When Walker's parents first met Gall, they said their first impressions of him were positive. Boy next door, her mother Jill Walker said. He came in very polite, very nice in the beginning. He was very likable. Emma Walker's friends said she seemed happy with Gall in the beginning. Soon, the cheerleaders' social media accounts were filled with pictures of a seemingly perfect pair paddle boarding together, embracing and taking silly selfies. In one post, Walker wrote, "Look how lucky I am." But the weird thing is, near the end of his junior year, Riley kept a promise to take his ex to the prom that year instead of taking Emma. He made Emma's parents worry that Emma wasn't a priority to Riley and was possibly insensitive to her feelings. Emma brushed it off. Now there was some tension between the family and Riley, and it didn't take long before the image of the perfect couple to fade. At first, the relationship seemed just kind of normal, said Keegan Lyle, one of Walker's best friends. Gall didn't really talk to us, her friends, a lot, she said, but I was just like, oh, he's shy. It just seemed normal, but then after a while was when we got kind of concerned. Friends said they grew concerned because it became apparent to many of them that Gall didn't want Walker to hang out with anyone but him. Whenever she wasn't with him, he'd blow up her phone. Their relationship was a vicious cycle of makeups and breakups. Riley didn't like when Emma dressed in a certain way. He preferred to make her fashion choices for her. He worried about her working. He'd sit in his car outside of the supermarket throughout her entire shift. Again, Emma brushed it off. He would just wait outside for hours, Hutton said. Lyle said friends told Walker that they didn't like the way Gall treated her, but she just kind of brushed it off, Lyle said. She did her own thing. Walker and Gall seemed to become that other classic high school couple, the kind that was always breaking up and getting back together. Friends described really dramatic arguments between the two, often over text message or Snapchat posts. Gall became aggressive, sending her Snapchat messages that said, "I hate you, I hate everything about you, and you're the biggest bitch I've ever come in contact with." One message in particular alarmed Walker's mother. "You're dead to me. I'll check the obituary," Gall wrote. "We questioned him about it, and he said, 'I was just angry.'" "And that's when we started to get many more red flags," said Jill Walker. The parents had had enough. Something about this relationship had their daughter tense and emotionally drained. Riley was banned from the house, and Emma was forbidden to interact with him. And they also took their daughter's cell phone away, but unfortunately, the couple secretly communicated via an iPod. By 2016, relief came when Riley moved to attend college, about a half an hour away from Emma, but Emma Walker and Gall were still dating. Their tumultuous relationship had continued despite her parents' attempts to keep them apart. But when Emma's parents found out about Emma's forbidden relationship, Emma Walker's parents decided to ground her, not allowing her to leave the house except to go to school and cheerleading. They started monitoring everywhere she went, and to their surprise, it seemed to work. But right before Thanksgiving break, Riley began to post Snapchats of himself cozying up with other girls at his new school. After seeing the videos, Emma broke off things for good. She realized she deserved better. "She just came to the realization that she deserved better," Lyle said. "Then we're all like, yes, finally, it's happening. We're like, what we've been waiting for." But Riley did not take the breakup well. Riley's response to the breakup was a failed Vicodin overdose in his college dorm room. Emma was relieved he didn't succeed at his attempt, but that did not revitalize their relationship. Then on Friday, November 18th, 2016, Emma was allowed to attend a gathering at a friend's house. Around 11:30 p.m. that night, her friend and classmate Zach Green arrived at the house where they were hanging out, and Emma pulled him aside. She told him she had been receiving strange text messages from a number she didn't recognize. She's like, "Zach, I'm getting these really weird text messages that say, 'Come outside alone if you don't want to see a loved one get hurt,'" Green said. She showed him her phone. "Go to your car with your keys," said one text message. Then, "Go alone," said another, and another said, "I've got someone you love. If you don't comply, I will hurt them." Green said that Emma thought it was one of Riley's friends playing a prank on her, but that she texted back, threatening to call the police. The text messages, however, became more menacing. "If you'd like to hear his crying and screams, give him a call," said one message. Green said Emma started begging him for help. He said, eventually she comes out and says, "Zach, listen. They said they dropped Riley outside." He and Emma went outside, and sure enough, they found a body lying face down in a ditch near the house. He said they could see that it was Riley. The two ran down to Riley, and Emma demanded to know what was going on.
Where did you see him?
He was kind of up there near, like, kind of the shrub, like where those thin trees are, kind of laying down.
According to a confused Riley, he'd, for unknown reasons, had been kidnapped. He'd then been dumped in a ditch that happened to be near the party Emma was attending. Green said, Emma's like, "Why are you here?" He's like, "I don't know what happened. I don't know how I got here. I've been kidnapped. Someone dropped me off here. I don't know what's happening. Where am I? How'd I get here?" Holding his head like he got hit, it was just very weird. Afterwards, Riley called his friend Noah Walton and told him he had been kidnapped that night, but Walton didn't believe a word of it. He sounded like he'd been crying, or he was sounding fatigued, I guess, Walton told 2020. He basically told me that these people knocked him out, took his car, and threw him in a van, and he didn't know where he was.
And he basically told me that these people knocked him out, took his car, and threw him in a van, and he didn't know where he was.
He said Riley told him not to call 911 to report the alleged incident. He was just like, no cops, no cops, said Walton. The following morning, Emma was home alone. She was getting ready to go meet her mom when she began to hear pounding at the front door. When she peeked out, she saw a tall figure dressed all in black, banging away. He texted her friends, saying a stranger was at her doorstep. "I'm home alone, and somebody in all black walked down my street and came to my door and rang the doorbell over and over again," Emma texted, adding, "I thought I was going to die." She also texted Riley saying, "I hate you, but I need you right now." I'm coming. I'm speeding, just give me a minute, Riley texted her back. When Emma failed to meet up with her mother that morning as planned, Jill Walker returned home and found her daughter and Riley in the front yard. My first thought was, "You're kidding me. He knows he's not allowed here," Jill Walker said. So I just get out and ask him to leave politely, and he says, "No, I'm here to help. I'm making sure Emma is okay, and he's trying to talk to me." And I just said, "You know you're not allowed. You need to leave." And he did leave. Her daughter was visibly shaken and thought it could have been a burglar or maybe even a stalker. Jill, however, wasn't convinced. I said to Emma, "Don't you find it odd that Riley was involved or appeared at both events?" She said, "No, it wasn't him, Mom. It wasn't him," Jill told 20/20ths. "He's trying to get her attention to talk to him and going way overboard to do that," she added. "I was worried, and we were watching her," Jill Walker said. "On Sunday, we followed her to work, followed her back home, to watch and make sure she was safe. Later in the evening, she went to eat some ice cream with her dad. It was an uneventful day that culminated in a calm night when she went to sleep. Suddenly, in the middle of the night, her dad heard a loud banging noise. He said later in an interview it was like someone was inside the house and slammed the door really hard, so he got startled. Then he heard a second loud noise, so he quickly got up to go check on Emma and Evan, checking both their rooms. When he opened Emma's door, she was calmly laying on her bed, what appeared to be sleeping. He scouted the whole house and saw nothing weird, so he ended up convincing himself he dreamt it or imagined it, so he went back to bed. The next day, Monday the 21st of November, both Mark and Jill were getting ready in their morning routines at 6 a.m. when Jill decided to go wake up her daughter, as she usually did. She was normally easy to wake up, so when her mom called her name several times and bumped her legs with no response, she knew something was wrong, and that was when she looked at Emma's face and checked her pulse, and she knew. She quickly called 911. "I just tried to wake my daughter for school," Jill Walker told the 911 operator. She's 16. "You said that she's non-responsive?" the 911 operator asked her. "Yeah," Jill Walker said, sobbing.
Where is your emergency?
Jill Walker!
What's going on there?
I just tried to wake up my daughter for school, and she has no pulse.
How old is she?
She's 16.
You said that she's non-responsive?
Yeah.
Police were sent to the Walker house. Knox County Sheriff's Deputy Nikki Buells, the lead forensic technician on the case, said the call originally came in as a possible suicide, overdose, or a natural cause that made her die overnight, and when she didn't come to school, the rumors were quick to spread, especially the first two causes of death. Because she was so well known, rumors were being made, and there were a lot of public mourning, and people really wanted to get to the bottom of what happened to her, so the investigation began. Deputy Blue stated, "When I first got there, I started my photographs on the outside of the residence. I walked in, photographed the interior of the residence. Walked into the bedroom, photographed the bedroom," Buells said. "There was a hole in the wall. It appeared to be a bullet hole. At that point, I knew that it probably was not a suicide," she added. "A hole in the wall the size of a pen. This showed that there were 2 bullets that were shot to the corner of the house where her bed was. So this told investigators that the person who did this had to know exactly that this was Emma's bedroom and where her bed was. Detectives started then making the typical questions of, 'Do you know anyone that might have wanted to harm Emma?' And Riley's name kept popping up, so police went to his dorm, but had nothing to connect him to the murder. That is until one of his friends, Alex, told the police that the Saturday before Emma's death, Riley told him he had stolen his grandfather's gun for protection. This made Riley become a person of interest in Emma's murder, so he was interviewed. "When I first met him, Riley, I thought he might have been a grieving boyfriend," Dayton James Hurst told 2020. "When we got into the interview room and sat down, I felt like there was a dark side. He didn't have a whole lot of passion or concern." When Riley was asked where he was at the time of death, he said he was at his friend Noah's house, and he was pretty sure he slept over.
Who else didn't know us when you get there?
It was just me and him, and then I think it was just me and him all night. I don't remember anybody else showing up.
And you said you spent the night?
I'm pretty sure I did, yes. Actually, yes, I'm positive I did. I did spend the night.
You can't remember if you spent the night at Noah's or stayed at your grandparents'?
Detectives found very weird that during the whole 2 hours of interview, Riley never said Emma's name, only referring to her as the girl and the girl who passed away.
The girl, she texted me,
Which girl?
the one that passed away.
Oh,
Riley told detectives he had been trying to speak with Emma that weekend, but she wouldn't engage with him. But she said if I would help her write her paper, she would talk to me, Riley told detectives, and Sunday night I used one of my friend's phones on campus to call her. Our phone call didn't go very well, he said. She just told me a bunch of cruel stuff, and she blocked his number.
I was crying, and I was trying to get her to reason with me on being back together with me. And she just kept saying no. She said she didn't care about the relationship anymore. She said, you need to stop, you're crazy, you need to get a life. Hung up the phone, blocked me.
Serious trouble.
Am I a suspect in her passing?
should you be?
I just feel like I'm being badgered with questions. I hope to God I'm not a suspect in her death.
Did I say you were?
I hope you don't think it, because I wouldn't hurt that girl.
Did you shoot into Emma's house?
No, sir.
Afterward, Riley told detectives he went over to his grandparents' house briefly and then drove back to his college. Once there, Riley said he broke down and cried for 2-3 hours in his car over breaking up with Emma. But as he was describing this in the interrogation room, Merritt said Riley was emotionless. His interview was probably one of the most disconnected. It almost seemed rehearsed, deliberate, Merritt told 2020. When asked about the gun, he always denied it, no matter what they asked. His friend Noah later came forward and also said that Riley asking him if he knew how to take fingerprints off a gun for a quote-unquote friend.
What if I told you someone told us that they saw you with a gun? What would you think about that?
I would wonder who said that and where they saw me with the gun.
Alex McCarty said that you showed him a handgun. Where is the gun?
I do not know.
You understand, though, for us, Alex has no reason to lie about something like that.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, I don't know where it's at.
He said that you showed him the gun, you told him that you had it, and you told him that you got it from your granddad.
Don't have the gun. I don't know why he would say that. Am I a suspect in her passing?
Should you be?
I just feel like I'm being badgered with questions. I hope to God I'm not a suspect in her death.
Did I say you were?
I hope you don't think it, because I wouldn't hurt that girl.
Did you shoot into Emma's house?
No, sir.
So after Riley left the interview, he immediately texted his two friends asking why they snitched about the gun and asked them not to speak to the police any further since he needed time until he got rid of it, so he didn't got blamed by something he didn't do. At this point, Alex and Noah were pretty confident that he was the one who killed Emma. Knowing Riley was lying to authorities, Alex and Noah collaborated with police to help them lay a trap. On Tuesday night, just one day after Emma's murder, detectives wired the two teens up with microphones, a transmitter where police could listen in, and a video camera hidden in a key fob, and planned out a sting operation to recover the potential murder weapon.
Camera was right on the tip of the key fob. And we set it down, pointing right at the couch.
Those two young men contacted us and asked if they could help us get what they believed to be the murder weapon back, Merritt told 2020. Obviously, there's concerns for their safety. We went over all that with them, and they were still adamant, very adamant, that they wanted to do this. They understood the dangers and the concerns, but they wanted to do it. As their conversation reaches Emma, Riley started by denying any involvement and saying that he wanted his friend to take back their statements to the police by claiming they were on drugs or something, and that the three should go dump the gun in the Tennessee River to get rid of it.
I'm sorry about him, my dog.
I want to be so upset and I can't, because I'm more worried about getting arrested and putting away for murder that I didn't commit. And never in my life would I kill someone that I love that much.
Love you, bro. It sucks you gotta deal with all this, man.
Riley clearly had no clue about the sting. He had faith in his friends.
I'm trusting you guys, like, with my life, because, I mean, this is 70 years in jail if I get convicted of something I didn't do.
So why can't you just give him a gun?
It just needs to be gone. For whatever reason, it just needs to be gone. You guys don't have to come with me if you don't want to.
I mean, I got your back, man.
If it's in the Tennessee River, they will never find it.
So at this point, they got in the car and stopped at Riley's stepdad's house, where he had hidden the gun in a trash bag, retrieved it, and proceeded to stop to get fast food before heading to a parking lot near the river. During all this time, the two friends were in contact with the police, and when Riley decided they should get out of the car and take the gun to the river, the police showed up and apprehended everyone there. The operation was a success, and Riley was arrested.
Everybody put your hands out of the vehicle now!
In addition to the gun, police recovered what they believed to be a treasure trove of evidence, including gloves and black clothing, which authorities say point to Riley also being the man dressed in black who was mysteriously at Emma's door the Saturday morning before she was killed. In May 2018, in his trial, Riley's defense team said this was not a murder, but a reckless homicide, which caught the court by surprise, since they just admitted he was the one who fired.
When Riley Gall fired that shot in the backyard, as crazy as it is, and as bizarre as it is, he's hoping that he could come to her rescue. Some of us who know about firearms may very well know that if you shoot into a house, it'll go through the wall. Some of us may not, and I submit to you, Riley Gall did not.
However, the defense team claimed the shots being fired did not have the intent to kill her, but yes, to scare her, so she would ask him to come over and save her. Nevertheless, the prosecution was quick to call BS on this, since the way the shots were fired, it was very specifically in a place that had the intent to kill. There were 30 witnesses at the trial, and it took over 1 week, but in May 8, 2018, Riley was charged with first-degree murder.
In count 1, charging the defendant with first-degree murder, did the jury reach a verdict?
Yes, we did.
What is your verdict?
Guilty.
And sentenced to over 50 years in prison before he gets a chance for parole. Since her death, Emma Walker's family has tried to keep her legacy alive. Her mother said she loved animals and wanted to be a NICU nurse, so the family has since gotten a dog park and a NICU patient room at East Tennessee Children's Hospital named after her. Also, to honor Emma Jane Walker's memory, her family and friends established the Emma Walker Memorial Scholarship at Central High School. This scholarship is awarded to students who exhibit qualities such as kindness, empathy, and a commitment to ending domestic violence. Emma Jane Walker's life was tragically cut short due to domestic violence, but her legacy lives on through the efforts to raise awareness and support victims of abuse. Her story serves as a poignant reminder of the importance of recognizing the signs of abuse and taking action to prevent such tragic incidents from occurring in the future.